This is the third presentation for Module 4 Research Designs. Here we review how to design research for qualitative questions. This presentation will be quite short compared to quantitative questions because a qualitative research design is often much more flexible. While in quantitative studies, you have to have everything spelled out very, very carefully before you start. In qualitative studies, you discover things as you go along. So we'll discuss why here. Let's quickly review the definition of a qualitative research question. This is a question that asks about social processes or the meaning and cultural significance of people's actions. So remember our example of the Inuit culture, and there are many different meanings for snow. Here is Dr. Calarco's research question that's discussed in the textbook. How does children's social class background encourage classroom behavior that affects their learning? Pause the presentation and review this study in your textbook. It starts on page 97. And ask yourself, how is this question an example of qualitative research? How does it uncover social processes or meaning of people's actions? What are the social processes? What are the meanings that are coming out of their actions? Okay, I hope you paused the presentation and had a chance to review that question. So, Dr. Calarco's question is qualitative because through her research, she was able to examine how children's help-seeking actions are shaped by their social class and the impact that this has on their education. So this is really a qualitative question here that's not easily answered by quantitative research such as surveys. So we might assume that children's educational experiences are shaped by individual aspects such as their intelligence or behavior. But what Calarco found is that social class has a significant role here. So children from different social classes would have different interpretations of how to ask for help from their teachers, just like the Inuits have different interpretations of snow. Teachers themselves would interpret their students' help-seeking behavior and so would interact with them differently. As you can imagine, this has a very real impact on a child's education. So her research was really at this intersection of social class and education. So while her research helped answer a quantitative question, how does class affect educational inequality, she understood that qualitative research tools would best answer her question. Let's take a look at how she designed her study. These are the considerations to keep in mind when designing qualitative research. You select a research strategy, You select the field setting, social group, or archival records. You gain access and establish relationships. You decide whom to observe or interview, and then you gather and analyze data. Considering Dr. Calarco's study, for her research strategy, she decided that a qualitative design would be best to answer her question. However, remember, her question was very different going in than when she ended her study. The field setting she chose was an elementary school classroom. She was able to gain access because a relative of hers was a district employee, and she sought permission from possible schools. Dr. Calarco chose socioeconomic diverse schools, so because she wanted to study variations in class, so she wanted to make sure that the schools had students who were both working class, middle class. And she chose grades 3 through 5. Lastly, she collected data, so she observed classrooms and conducted interviews. So in qualitative research, you start the analysis while you're collecting data. So the data you're collecting, you're observing or talking with students and teachers, you're thinking to yourself, okay, how does this relate to my question? And what Dr. Calarco actually found was that she found something new about these habit-seeking or help-seeking behaviors. And so she changed her research design, her research question, to fit what she found in the field. So let's review the difference between quantitative and qualitative research design. So most importantly, your design depends on your question. Is your research question asking about the relationship between two variables? If so, then that's a quantitative research design will best answer your question. Are you asking about social processes or the meaning and cultural significance of phenomena, such as social class? Then qualitative research design will best answer your question. Let's compare the two types of designs. In quantitative research, the questions drive the design and does not change. It remains unchanged throughout data collection and analysis. That's why it's so important to define and measure the variables before beginning. We'll talk more about this in next week's module. By contrast, qualitative research, the research question may change as the research unfolds, leading to changes in research design. So for example, once in the field, Calarco shifted her focus from students' friendships to help-seeking behavior. So this is important. You should write this down in your notes. Qualitative research changes as research unfolds, leading to changes in your research design. This is one of the strengths of qualitative research. That concludes the presentation on qualitative research. Please proceed to the exercises in the module.